Hello everyone. Today we are going to cover complete tutorial of Nginx on Ubuntu using version 20.04 LTS. So these are the table of contents which we are going to learn today. So what is Nginx web server? Why might someone choose to use Nginx over another web server software? And we will host a website on Nginx web server, and also we will host multiple websites on Nginx server with single IP address. Then we will see about engineering configuration file and directories. We will learn about basic Linux, basic engineering troubleshooting. Further, what are Nginx logs and how we can optimize Nginx performance, and then how to secure Nginx. At the end, we will deploy Node.js application for production on Nginx server. So let's start. So what is Nginx web? Nginx is a high-performance open-source web server and reverse proxy server. It excels in serving static content, load balancing, and handling concurrent connection effectively. Nginx is often used as a front-end proxy server to route requests to backend servers like Node.js or PHP, making it a critical component for optimizing web application performance and security. So, what is reverse proxy? So, a reverse proxy where it accepts a request from a client, forwards the request to a server that can fulfill it, and returns the response from the server to the client. Nginx also considers a load balancer. A load balancer in which it distributes the incoming client request to a group of servers in which it can handle concurrent requests without experiencing load on particular server. Next, we will see why might someone choose to use Nginx over another web server software. So there are many reasons, such as Nginx is known for its performance and efficiency, in which it can handle a large number of concurrent connections and a small memory footprint, which makes it a good choice for high traffic websites. Nginx is also considered as highly scalable. Because of handling large amount of traffic, it can be easily scaled up or down as needed. Nginx is also considered as versatile, where it can be used as a reverse proxy and a load balancer. Nginx is also easy to configure and maintain. Its configuration files are simple and straightforward. So we will start with the installation of Nginx on Ubuntu 20.04 version. So let's start with the updation of our system. So simply type sudo apt update. So now as we can see, the system is updating. Now we will install Nginx. Sudo apt install Nginx -y. So as we can see, Nginx is also installed successfully. Now we will check that Nginx service is in running state or not. To check this, simply type sudo service Nginx status. So as we can see, it is in active state. Now we will check this on browser. So simply type our IP address in the browser. Paste your IP address. So as you can see, after pasting our IP address, we will see default page of Nginx. If you see this page, the Nginx web server is successfully installed and working condition. So next, we will simply create our own website and we will host on Nginx server. So we will create simple HTML page in where directory. So to exit this, Control plus C type. Now clear this. Open the where directory. In where directory, there is www folder. So open it. Now we will create a file in this. So sudo. We will create a directory in this. Sudo mkdir tutorial dot devops devops hint dot info. We will check that if the file is made or not. So as we can see now, simply open that file. Now create one index.html file under this directory. So sudo touch index.html. Now open the nano editor so we can type our HTML code there. So sudo nano index.html. Now simply copy paste your HTML code here. Af- After pasting your code, press Ctrl plus X, Shift plus Y. As you can see the folder name index.html and then enter. Press enter. So now we will set up a server block. Server block is same as a virtual host. To set up a virtual host, we need to go in etc directory where all the configuration are saved default, and we have to create our configuration file for this directory cd etc nginx. We have to visit the sites enabled cd site enabled. Now we have to create our configuration by simply typing this code. Now we have to save our configurations here. So simply paste our configuration. Now we can see it is listening on port 80. The server name is tutorial.devops.in.info, our website name, and where it is saved. And this is our website page. Now escape :w. Now we have to add a DNS record. We have to create a domain. To create a domain, I have used GoDaddy website. In this, we have to add a DNS record. So we will add a new record. Select the type A. Name of the website is tutorial. Your IP address. Paste your IP address here. In TTL, select custom 600 seconds and save. As you can see, it is updating the DNS record. Now we will enable the firewall settings because sometimes the firewall and proxy stop sometimes firewall and proxy settings stop our website to run. So to enable this, you simply need to type sudo ufw enable, which will enable the firewall. Type Y. As you can see, firewall is active. Now you have to add some sudo ufw allow the Nginx http. So Nginx http. So to check the status of the firewall, simply type sudo ufw status. So as you can see, we have allowed the HTTP port. Now we will check our configuration are stored successfully or not. So simply type sudo nginx -t. So as we can see, our configuration are running successfully. So now we will check this on our browser. So simply type of website name in the URL .in. So after your configuration are checked, just restart your service sudo service nginx reload. Now we will check. So so say we have created a website on Nginx server. Next, we will host multiple websites like this. To host multiple websites, we use server block. So what is Nginx server block? So Nginx server blocks are also known as virtual host, like in Apache. And it is a feature that allows a single Nginx server to host multiple websites or applications with different configurations. Each server block is defined in Nginx configuration file and specifies how requests to specific domains or subdomains should be handled, making it possible to serve multiple sites from same server. Server blocks are essential for efficient web hosting and traffic routing. So we will create document root directory by simply creating the directory in the where. So clear this. Now we will host the multiple website. So sudo mkdir -p stands for parent directory. So as we can see, we have created a website name called as tutorial1.devops and .info. Next, we will create this for another website, sudo mkdir -p parent directory, where tutorial2.devops hint our name of the site and where it has been stored in HTML. So both the websites have been created successfully. Now the requests are made to the first example where we have seen our first website name is tutorial 1 and the request made for tutorial 2 site will be served from the tutorial 2 where we have stored in the where directory. Now use the user environmental variable to assign the ownership to the account. So we can currently sign it and and sign signed in on and make sure you are not logged in as a root user. So simply type as sudo chon user and the path. Now again we will do it for second website. In where directory www tutorial 2.devops info html. Next step. Next step is to give permission to the where directory. So to give the permission to the where directory, we need to type sudo chmod -R755 or where directory. The next step is to adjust the firewall, which we have done before. So we will move forward. So now we will create index.html file for both the sites by simply typing the sudo vim, which will create as well as open the editor for us. So now paste our HTML code here, escape :wq. Our file is saved, and same for our second website. Same for second website, we will create one index.html file, tutorial 2 dot devops hint dot info slash html slash index.html. It will create by using sudo vim. It will create as well as open a text editor for us. So now paste the second HTML code here. So just save and escape :wq. Now we will create a configuration file for both the websites. So now that we have created the content we wish to serve, we need to create the server block that will tell Nginx how to do this. So simply create the configuration in the etc directory in Nginx and sites available where we have created tutorial 1 configuration. Next we will type our configuration here. So as you can see, it is listing on board T. It is stored in the where directory and index.html file under this file. And next, the server name is tutorial1.devops.info, which we are going to type in a URL. Exit this. Same do for the second website. So we are creating the second configuration. Now, now as we can see, port 80, it is saved in where directory www file, index.html under which we have saved this, and we will access on browser with name tutorial2. So save this and escape wq: Next, we will enable our server blocks and restart the Nginx service. So simply type this, which will enable your service. I have selected. After enabling it, we will check if the configuration file are saved and it is running successfully or not. To check this, type sudo nginx-t. So as we can see, the configuration are saved and are running successfully. Now we will restart the service by simply typing this. Now the service have been restarted. Now we will create a domain for both the website. So to create a domain, add a new record, select A, tutorial1. What is the IP address you have to paste here? 600 seconds. Done. Now we will try to access this page. Simply type tutorial 1.devops and .info. Check this. So the site can't be reached. So as we can see, after reloading, the site is visible. So tutorial 1 server block is working. Now we will enter the second website details. We will create another DNS record for tutorial 2. Paste the IP address, select custom, type 600 seconds. It's updating record. Now we will check for our second website tutorial 2.devops.info. The default page is loading. We try to reload it. So as we can see, our second website is also we have access. So tutorial2.com server block is working. So we have hosted multiple websites successfully on Nginx web server. So next we will see what are Nginx configuration file and directories. So the default Nginx web content, as we have seen, it is stored in where directory www folder and in HTML. So when we install the Nginx, it is default stored in the where directory gets created, and when you access it on browser, the content loads from this directory only. So now Nginx server configuration file. So as we have seen, the in etc directory, all the configuration are saved, and in nginx.configuration, all the default configuration are saved. And in sites available, we need to create our own configuration to host a website. And in sites available, we should clear us include symlinks to the site configuration file, which is located in etc Nginx sites available. Now we will next learn about basic Nginx troubleshooting. So we will clear this. So now we will see basic Nginx troubleshooting. So troubleshooting Nginx involves identifying and resolving common issues that may arise when configuring or running the website. For example, if you have changed the Nginx configuration, and if we do not restart the service, so now it is running the page. But before that, if we not restart our service, then it will only load the default page of Nginx. So we will not able to see. So to solve this problem, we need to restart the service. So we will see one by one the Nginx service, how to check the Nginx service status. So simply we will type sudo service Nginx status. So we have seen this before. It is actively running now. So Control plus C, enter, clear. Next we will see how to start and stop the service. So sudo service Nginx stop. So it will stop the service. Now we will check the status. So as you can see, it is inactive. So now we will start the service. Now again we will check the status and verify it. So as you can see, it is in active and running state. Now Ctrl plus C, enter, clear this. So to check the syntax, if there are no syntax error, we we can check by typing sudo nginx -t. See, there are no errors right now, so we can't see any syntax error. So to check the errors, we can also access to the log files which is located in where directory, where access.log and error.log tell us about the errors. Next we will see firewall and ports. If you don't enable your firewall setting, then you will get a proxy and firewall is not available notification on your browser while accessing your website. So to ensure to resolve that problem, we need to enable some firewall ports or firewall. So simply type sudo ufw allow nginx full, which will allow it to check the status. Simply type sudo ufw status. What have been allowed till now? So as you can see, nginx http http full, nginx full, nginx http v6 is allowed. Now to check the website configuration, we have said this in etc directory sites available. We can create our own configuration, edit configuration. To reload or restart, we simply have to use sudo service nginx rel. Now we will learn about nginx log. So nginx log, so logs in nginx, by default nginx writes its event in two types of log, the error log and access log. In most of the popular Linux distributions like Ubuntu, CentOS, or Debian, both access and error log can be found in where directory, in log, and in nginx. Assuming we have already enabled the access and error logs in the core Nginx configuration file. So let us find more. So what is Nginx access log? The Nginx log logs the activities of all the visitors to your site in the access log. Here we can find which files are accessed, how Nginx responded to a request, what browser a client is using, IP address of clients, and more. It is possible to use the information from the access log to analyze the traffic to find sites usage over time. Further, by monitoring the access log properly, one can find out if the user is sending some unusual request for finding flaws in the deployed web application. So, some important Nginx access log fields you should be aware of. So, remote address. This denotes the IP address of the client requested the resource. HTTP user agent. The user agent in the use that send the request. Time local. It gives the local time zone of the server. Request what resource was requested by the client. The status which code which gives the status code of the response. Body byte sent. The size of the response in bytes. Request time also mentioned in access log. Remote user where information about the user making the request. HTTP refer. The IP address of HTTP refer and gzip ratio. The compression ratio of gzip if gzip is enabled or not. So next we will learn about error log. So on the other hand, if Nginx faces any glitches, then it will record in the event to the error log. This may happen if there are some error in the configuration file. Therefore, if Nginx is unable to start or stop in running, so then you should check the error logs to find more details. You may also find two warnings in the error log, but it does not indicate that a problem has occurred, but the event may pose a serious issues in near future. So there are some important factors we have to learn about error log files. So first one is emerge. These are the emergency logs. They mean that the system is unusable, alert, and immediate action is required. A critical condition occurred, an error or failure occurred while processing a request. 1. There was an unexpected event or something needs to be fixed. Next, notice. Something normal but important has happened. It has to be noted. Info. These are messages that give me information about the process. Debug. These are the messages that help with debugging and troubleshooting. They are generally not enabled unless needed because they create a lot of noise. Next, we will see 7 tips to optimize our engineering performance. So, tip 1 is keep your engineering updated. Keeping on engineering updated is one of the most straightforward ways to boost its performance. The engineering team regularly releases updates that include performance improvement, new features, and security patches. By keeping your engineering updated, you can take advantage of this enhancement and ensure that your server is protected against known security. Now, next, we will update our system again. So we will update our system sudo apt update. So as we can see, the system is updating. Once the package list is updated, you can upgrade Nginx also by simply typing sudo apt get upgrade Nginx. Type Y to continue. So as we can see, it is upgrading. Now, next we will enable gzip compressions. So gzip compression is a method of compressing files for faster network transfer. It is particularly effective for improving the performance of a website because it reduces the size of the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript file. This can significantly speed up data transfer, especially for clients with slow network connection. To enable zip compression in Nginx, you need to modify the Nginx configuration file. So we will modify our configuration, but first it's not upgraded, right? So we'll wait. As you can see, it is setting up all the packages that are needed. It will take some time. Next, we will learn about file cache opening. So until we will learn about caching. So caching is a technique that stores data in a temporary storage area, cache, so that future requests for the data can be served faster. Nginx can cache response from our application server and serve them to clients, which can significantly reduce the load on your application servers and speed up responses time. Next, we will learn about configuring cache properly, and we will optimize worker process and connection. So now we will start with enabling the zip compression. Simply clear the screen, type sudo nano in etc directory. All the configurations are stored in Nginx at nginx.com. So these are the default configuration. Here only we have to remove the command. Gzip is on. Here just we have to remove the command to enable the gzip compression. So we will understand what is this. So gzip is on means it enables the gzip compression. Gzip vary on tells proxies to cache both gzip and regular version of resource. Next is the gzip types. So we will add some, for example, like gzip minimum length. So it will does not compress anything smaller than the defined size. So we will add here. Next, we will add gzip proxy expire no cache no store private auth, which will compress the data even for clients that are being proxy. So we will simply type gzip proxied expire no cache no store private. Enter. So now next, so gzip types text plain and text CSS application. This line is used to compress the specified MIME types. Next, we will save this Ctrl plus X, Shift plus Y, Enter. Now we will check if the configuration is stored successfully or not. Sudo nginx -t. So as we can see, it is successfully stored, and we have used gzip to compress file for faster network transfer. Now we will open the file cache. So as we have seen what is caching. So virtually everything is a file in Linux. And when you use open file, the descriptors and all file accessed regularly will be cached to the server. Serving static HTML files with open file cache will improve the performance of Nginx as it opens and stores cache in memory for specific period of time. So we will copy this to open the cache. We will again go to the configuration file, etc nginx slash nginx.config. Your default configuration as zip. Now in HTTP block, we will add the cache, how to open the cache, to enter, open the cache. So after adding this, we have successfully opened the cache. Just save our file. Now we will check it if the configuration is running successfully. So we are running successfully. Now we will configure the caching properly. So now we will open again the configuration and we will set up a cache. We will set up a cache in HTTP block. Now again open the nano editor. Default configuration are saved here. Now we will set up cache here. So proxy cache path is the path on your file system where the cache will be stored, and the levels set the which set the level parameter to define the hierarchy levels of cache. And the key zones create a shared memory zone named my cache that will store the cache keys and metadata such as usage time. The size 10 meter can store about 8,000 keys, and max size is equal to 1. That's the maximum size of the cache, and inactive is equal to 60 minutes. That's how long an item can remain in the cache without being accessed. And use temp path of tells engineering to not to use a temporary path for storing large files. So we save this, Control X, Shift plus Y. Hit. Now we will check if the configuration is running or not. It is running. We have set up cache successfully. Now, next, next, we have to specify the location for, and we have to create a cache in our website, which we have created first, such as tutorial one. So we will copy this location. The proxy cache my cache enables the caching and specify the shared memory zone proxy pass HTTP or your website name will come here. Sets the protocol and address of the proxy server, and proxy cache valid 200 302 60 minutes. Sets the cache time for 200 and 302 responses to 60 minutes. A proxy cache valid 404 1 minute sets the cache time for 404 responses to 1 minute. So to open this configuration, you need to type cd etc sites available ls cd etc nginx sites available ls cd sites available. So we will open our tutorial one configuration file. In this server we have not created it. So let's see next one. So we have to paste this on our website created. Next, we will optimize worker process and connection. So Nginx use worker process to handle client requests. Each worker can handle a limited number of connections, and total capacity of the server is determined by the number of workers and the number of connections each worker can handle. Optimizing these settings can have a significant impact on Nginx performance. So we have to optimize worker process and connections. So we will simply open the configuration of Nginx. So sudo nano configuration, and as you can see worker process is auto. So we have to change it to 1024. So it is a good starting point, but you can increase the value if you accept a high number of simultaneous connections. If this directory is not present, add it inside the event. Now we will copy paste it worker connection up to 1024 point. Add this on the worker processor auto under this and save this file. Control plus X, Shift plus Y, enter. Check if it is running or not. If there are no errors in configuration. Oh, there are errors. Worker connection directive is not allowed. We have to remove the auto. Control plus X, Shift plus Y, enter. Now we will see worker connection directive is not allowed here in etc. So we have to save this worker connection in the event section. So in event worker connection 768 are, but we will type 1024. Now Control plus X, Shift plus Y, enter. Now we will not get error. Now we will change the size of the buffers. Nginx buffer are also somewhat important for the optimization of Nginx performance. Because the buffer size are too low, then Nginx is going to write to a temporary file, causing huge disk input and output operation cost. To prevent it, set the buffer size accordingly. So we will add the buffer in the HTTP block to simply open the configuration, add the buffer here. So client body buffer size 10K. It says the buffer size client for reading client request body. In this case, the request body is larger than the buffer. The whole body or only its part is returned to a template file. So client header buffer. So header buffer refers to a buffer size relative to the client request header. And client max body size sets the maximum al- sets the maximum allowed size of the client request body. Next, we will see large client header. So large client header is the maximum number and size of buffer for large client headers. A line cannot exceed the size of one buffer, or the 414 request URI 2 is too large. Error to return to the client. So we will save this. Control plus X, Shift plus Y, enter. We will check the configuration. So it is successfully running. Next, we will reduce the timeout. So timeouts also really improve the engine's performance considerably. They keep alive connections, reduce CPU and network overhead required when opening and closing connect. So we will copy this and we will paste in the HTTP, open the configuration, set up timeout, paste here. Now we will show client header timeout defines a timeout for reading the client request header. If a client does not transmit the entire header within this time, the request is terminated with the 408 request. A client body timeout. So client body timeout defines a timeout for reading the client request body. The timeout is set only for a period between two successive read operations, not for the transmission of the whole request body. And send time sets a timeout for transmitting a response to the client. If the client does not receive anything from the server within this time, the connection is lost. Now we will save this and we will check if the configuration are running or not. So it is running. Now we have seen 7 tips to optimize our Nginx server. Now we will see how to secure Nginx with Let's Encrypt. So Let's Encrypt is a certificate authority CA that provides an easy way to obtain and install free TLS and SSL certificates, thereby enabling encrypted HTTPS on web server. It simplifies the process by providing a software client third pod that attempts to automate most, if not all, of the required steps. Currently, the entire process of obtaining and installing a certificate is fully automated on both Apache as well as Nginx. So as we can see, it is not secure here. So to secure this, we need to use this certificate. So we will start with installing certbot. So simply install this by copy paste. clear this type Y. So we will install certbot in our system. So as we can see, it is installed. Next, we will confirm the Nginx config. The certbot needs to be able to find the correct server block in our Nginx configuration for it to be able to automatically configure SSL. Specifically, it does this by looking for a server name. So our server name for this is tutorial.devopsint.info. So it should match the domain you request a certificate for. If you followed the server block and set up step by step in the Nginx installation tutorial, you should have a server block for your domain. In etc directory in sites available tutorial.devopsint.info. So to do this, we have to tutorial. So it will care configuration. So to check, open the configuration file for our domain. And our domain name is tutorial.devopsint.info, where we have saved our configuration. So, so as you can see, here I have saved my configuration where server name is tutorial.devopsint.info. It is stored in the root directory where directory, and under this are HTML website pages stored. So exit this. Next step is to adjust the firewall. So we will adjust the firewall. We will list out the firewall app list. So as you can see, Nginx full Nginx HTTP, HTTPS, OpenS, SSH. Now we will allow the firewalls for Nginx HTTP. So after this, our rules are updated. Now we will check if it is updated or not by simply typing sudo ufw status. Means firewall status is inactive, so we need to activate to sudo ufw enable. Click on Y. So it is enable now. Now we will check the status. So both the ports are active. Now certbot, we will obtain a SSL certificate. So certbot provides a variety of ways to obtain SSL certificate through plugin. The Nginx plugin will take care of reconfiguring Nginx and reloading the configuration whenever necessary. To use this plugin, we need to type sudo certbot Nginx and our website name, which is tutorial, not test. Next, we will press enter. So we have to write an email address, DevOps hint. Write your own email address here. Next, we will agree the conditions of this. Would you be willing to share your email address with electronic printer? No. Enter. Obtaining a certificate for it. So it is deploying the certificate. So it is asking whether to change the configuration, web server configuration or not. So no. So appropriate number. So one. So so our certificate is generated. So we will verify this by simply typing sudo system status certbot.sign. So as we can see, it is inactive. So we have successfully get the certificate for our website. If so, let's encrypt certificates are only valid in 90 days. So this is to encourage users to automate the certificate renewal process. The certbot package we installed take care of this by adding the system timer that will run twice a day and automatically renew any certificate that's within 30 days of expiration. So as your certificate are downloaded and installed and loaded, so we will try to load this website. Sometime it takes time. So as you can see, we have no error. We will move forward. We'll try to renew and replace it. Now we will check. So our certificate is saved in the etc directory. Let's encrypt live and tutorial.devs.info is certificate is stored here. So now we'll clear this. Sometimes it takes time. As we have seen, the certificate is generated successfully. Now we will move forward. It takes time. So we will deploy now Node.js application for production on Nginx server. So what is Node.js? So Node.js is a runtime environment that allows developers to execute JavaScript on the server side. It is known for its non-blocking, event-driven architecture, making it highly efficient for building scalable and real-time applications. Node.js is commonly used for web server APIs and applications that require high concurrency and low latency. So what is PM2? So PM2 is an advanced daemon process manager that will help us to manage and keep our application online. We will use it to keep our server running up to running 24 into 7. So now we will start with the installation of Node.js. So let's download Node.js from node source. So as you can see, declaration warning. It will continue in 20 seconds. Next, we will install the Node.js app. So as we can see, it is installing the Node.js packages. Next will be install Node Package Manager. So we will continue. It will take some time as it is of 800 MB. Then we will check the Node and npm version. Now we will check the Node version and npm version. To check this, just type node -upper version and npm version. So as we can see, the current version is 10.19 for Node and 6.14 for npm. Next, we will create a sample Node.js app. So we will create this. So now we have created, and simply we will paste our code here. So we have created a code here. So we have just created a response of hello world. So constant express im this line imports the express model, which is a popular Node.js web application. And constant app express, here you create an instance of an express application by calling the express function. So both are the function. Now constant port is equal to 3000. This line defines a variable port with the value 3000. This is the port on which your application on which your web server will listen for incoming HTTP request. So app.get. So app.get code defines a route for handling HTTP GET request to root path. So we have created a simple response called as hello world. Then I have with listen port. This code starts the express application and tells it to listen and specify on the specified port. When the server is successfully started and begins listening for incoming requests, the code inside the callback function is executed. So next, we will install the Express to run the app server. So we will save this sudo npm install Express. So as we can see, it is installed. Sudo node app this. So we will check if the app is running or not. So we will type our IP address here. So next, We will use PM2 as a process manager. So we will let's install and use PM2 as a process manager. So sudo npm I pm2-g. So it is resolving all the modules. Next, we will start the PM2 service and app. So as you can see, the status for our app created is online. Username is Ubuntu. Now we will check this on our browser. So our third step is using PM2 as a process manager. So let's install this. So it will resolve with a new modules all. So let's install. Let's clear this. Now we will start our app. So as I have already launched, so we will re-execute it. As we have seen the PM2 already in active state. So next we will configure Nginx and we will see what is reverse proxy. So a reverse proxy is a server or software that stands between client request and backend server, routing request to appropriate server. So now we will configure Nginx as reverse proxy. This will help to get our security features from Nginx. Also, we can serve static content. So after installation, we will create a configuration for our Node app in which we will type a surname, a server name with our IP address. So after doing this step, escape WQ. Now, after this, activate this configuration by simply typing this. Now we will access this on our browser. So type your IP address in this. So I notes if you have default page in the sites available of Nginx, we have to remove it because it will load the Nginx default page. By removing it, it will load our Node app. So as you can see, the response hello world is given. So we have successfully deployed our Node.js app on an Nginx server. So conclusion, the Nginx tutorial for our Ubuntu 20.04 provides a extensive guide to installing, configuring, and optimizing Nginx, empowering users to host multiple websites and applications securely and efficiently. So please like, share, and comment, and do subscribe our channel. Thank you.